Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of our online interview series here at Commodity TV. And it's my honor and pleasure today, for the first time, we have Tim Clark, the new CEO of Fury Gold Mines here. Welcome and good morning to Canada.
Morning, how are you?
Perfect, and hope you are too. And yeah, that's fantastic to have you here the first time on Commodity TV. As I said, you have been promoted, the new CEO of Fury Gold, and of Fury Gold Mines, I should say. And yeah, that was a little bit a surprise, as I'm a long-term shareholder also of the company. And maybe you can say some words to your person first, that our viewers get to know with whom we are talking.
Sure, I'm glad to. Well, look, I joined the board 6 months ago with Fury, and after 23 years of working in the capital markets, predominantly working with companies just like this and helping them develop in relationships, strategy, and navigating just the capital markets in terms of getting traction with investors. So for me, it was a very natural move. As far as the change that came through, essentially, look, Mike Timmons, who was the previous CEO, is a very good friend of mine. I have a lot of time for Mike. I've known him for 15 years. He was previously at Agnico Eagle. And he's the one who brought me in to be on the board. And so he decided end of August that he wanted to take a different direction. The firm, to be fair, was, in a position where the market had changed and pivoted a little bit. The company was really more focused on development, being a development company, which means raising a lot more money going forward. And at the time, the gold price started to trade off in the beginning of the summer. And to me and to some of the other people on the board, I think it was time to pivot back into being great at what you do, which is exploration. We're extremely fortunate to have multiple assets that give us a lot of optionality. At the same time, we've got Mike Hendrickson, who's our chief geo. He comes to us from Newmont. He's got an incredible line of sight with other top-notch geologists around the world to be able to navigate and be able to restructure our plans for the assets that we've picked up. Effectively, the goal is, at these exploration companies, is to really put money in the ground. It's to focus on trying to be 70-30% in terms of giving investors the biggest bang for their buck in their drill bits. It's not a complicated business, but you have to be willing to pivot at a particular time in the market. And just historically speaking, this seemed like a great opportunity to me. In particular, over my career, I've realized, and every year it's more so true, that you have to find a great management team, a great board, real strong technical skills as the primary source of building the culture and the process. If you don't have great leadership and you don't have a great strategy, it makes it awfully hard to be successful no matter what assets you have. So I sort of really developed a great respect and friendship for these guys. And when the market came back and I saw an opportunity to pivot, the stock price obviously has come off quite a bit. It was, to me, it was a no-brainer. I did reach out to other top-tier gold companies out there where I'm friends with senior management team, and I looked to advice for them, and they agreed it was a great opportunity and great platform. So it wasn't a hard decision, and I think the company has come a long way in the last month. We've announced a financing last night that we're going to raise $5+ million for the company. This is going to keep us in good stead. It's the first of a couple hurdles coming up. We've got about 20 drill holes coming to us in the next couple weeks. It's going to start. And then we've also announced the sale of Homestake, which is our British Columbia asset. And I think that's going to be really important for us to build our treasury back up. So, it's unique. It's unusual to have a junior exploration company with as many assets as we do. Again, I go back, it gives you a lot of optionality because you can shift some focus and you can raise some money to do things that other companies might not get to do. As well, we happen to have a really strong base of retail and high net worth shareholders. So we are doing this financing to reward the guys who've stuck with us. We're trying to be thoughtful in terms of bringing in new talent and shareholders who can add value going forward. I personally, over 25 years, have gotten a good sense that you intuitively know when you're in a great spot. They don't come around often. And I think that the runway and the pathway for Fury coming at these prices is exceptional. At the same time, I know everybody's been watching the market. Gold has been sluggish, and effectively it's predictable because everybody's been making so much money in the overall economy. You're not going to be selling stocks that you're continually going up in. But we saw a little pivot again a couple of days ago. Gold reacted up, and I think that this inflation is really going to be here coming towards us. There is conversation of how it's being transient, but I know from my channel checks, these companies are not planning it that way. I think we're going to have higher prices going forward. The checks I have with investors that I've worked with over 20 years, and these guys are some of the top guys out there, and they're effectively telling me that people are looking for hard assets. Commodities are going to come back, in my opinion. The base metals have obviously been an early adopter because of what's going on in renewables. But gold is a risk-off scenario. Bitcoin is a risk-on. And I think we're going to be looking at a little risk-off for people as they try and, protect themselves going forward. And gold is going to be coming at us.
Absolutely. That is for sure. I will sign that 100%. I see it the same way. Inflation is there and inflation stays. That is also for sure. You just said something interesting to me, selling Homestake, because that was always something which I had a little bit on my list, which would make sense. So what are the plans there for Homestake? Do you want to do it with the neighbor? I think Heckler is the neighbor, or do you sell it to a third party? What's going on?
Sure. Well, look, we the property is next to Dolly Varden, and then the Heckler is surrounding us. Mm-hmm. I think one of those two makes a lot of sense, but we have 6 CAs signed with other companies. Mm-hmm. They're doing the work right now. Look, we didn't want to sell it. We think there's more value there. So something that probably works great for us is some cash up front and to share in the shares of these companies and be able to have something in the upside. As I look at this company, there's a lot of things that we want to do and a lot of drilling and exploration. And, it's just better to focus in on the areas that are more important for the investors. It's just because you can make money out in this doesn't mean you can't make more somewhere else. So when I first saw the company drilling or want to drill here in Homestake, they were looking at Eau Claire and Committee Bay and Homestake, and from a junior exploration company, that doesn't resonate well with investors. They want you to be able to last and really target the area that's most prolific. For us, it's our main flagship is Eau Claire, and I think that a better use of funds and strategy is to clean this up and make a simpler story. I heard this from both bankers, investors, and analysts. It's a smarter move for us, and I think we're going to get more out of it, but yet we're still going to likely have participation in the upside. It's a great asset. Again, we don't want to sell it, but it's a great business decision.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? I mean, maybe it's a little bit of a useless question, but I still want to ask you, what do you think you can get for Homestake? What an order or like a frame you think of?
Well, look, I mean, if we got something like $40 million where we got $5 million up front and 10 next year and 10 the year after, and that kind of structure with shares of the company, I think that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. The valuation is hard to nail down. It's what people think it's worth to them. And we're just going through the process and try and maximize, the opportunity here. So, but that's the kind of framework I see happening.
Okay, super. That would be a nice financing cushion then for, let's say, the hard exploration at Eau Claire and Committee Bay. Let's come to Eau Claire because, as you said, this is the flagship. You have completed 32,000 meters of drilling so far. 28 holes are released and 10 drill holes from Snake Lake and the Western Limb extension are currently pending. So when can we expect those 10 holes?
Well, Committee Bay starts next Friday, And then we have assay results coming back from the lab over the next 6 weeks in various, days. So look, Eau Claire is basically a 30-kilometer land package that we have targeted 9 areas where we think there can be gold. We've drilled out Eau Claire and Snake Lake. There's been drilling in Percival. Historically, we think that Percival actually it could potentially be a big score for us. So our goal right now is to get these results back in, retarget where we think the geology is, and try to drill out Percival. Snake Lake, we've got 5 holes pending. What's interesting about Snake Lake is it's still in its infancy. So it's right next door to Eau Claire to the east. Historical drilling on surface had good targets. We drilled down a little bit under that, had another good hit. And then we went down 1 kilometer and found 94 ounces at half a meter. And that was a huge surprise for our geologists. So what we're doing is we put in 5 holes right in between and try and figure out what's there. And when it comes back to Eau Claire itself, look, as we drill close to the resource, obviously we're getting nice hits. We're not getting paid to drill around next to the resource. We're paid to basically expand this project and take the ounces from 1.3 million to 2.5. And we see down plunge on the western limb. We see opportunities in the gap. Again, we're going to find out in the next 3 to 4 weeks what we have. And I don't think it's a reach to say that this is going to get bigger, and so is Snake Lake. And I think Percival is sort of the real excitement for us right now because it's basically undrilled. We've basically Homestake had drilled in the wrong sort of area, thinking it was going in a different direction. We know it's plunging down to the west, and we also see 500 meters to the east. The same exact signature there. There's a lot of upside. And as I said, it's unusual to see a junior company with so much area to look at. I mean, Quebec is extremely prolific for drilling for gold. It's been relatively unexplored. And the kicker for all these companies up there is they have the James Bay Hydro Project, which supplies a major amount of power for Canada, for Quebec, as well as the U.S. Northeast. And as such, you have as much power and road systems as you can ask for. This is really interesting because on an economic basis, these companies really want these kind of projects. It's easier to build. They don't have to fly anybody anywhere. And if you look at this package, we're really only on 3 out of the 9 potential holes that we can drill. So that's Eau Claire.
Okay, super. So does that mean that there is a little bit of a strategy change now, I would call it? Because when you sell Homestake and you really focus on the exploration, does it mean that you make the bride look as good as possible for the future?
Well, look, that's so true. And, that's part of the game. And that's part of marketing and developing a strategy is to try and buff things up to make them look as attractive as you can for the upper end of the food chain. Look, we have been in the past a sort of hybrid on an exploration and development company. The market pivoted last summer in terms of gold price, and we had to make that adjustment as well. I think historically what companies get rewarded for is being really great at what they do. When you try to do too much, it can backfire on you. It's not that you can't accomplish those goals, but I think it's not where your sweet spot is. And I think we have an exceptional talent on the geophysical side. Mike Hendrickson came from his career at Newmont. He's got relationships globally that are as good as any large cap company I've ever worked for. And the goal here is to give these guys the money. Like I said to you earlier, it's not a complicated job here. We're here to raise money, get investors excited and wanting to be loyal to what we're doing. And that is, simply put, giving these geologists as much money as they can and time for them to make the decisions on where to go to build out these projects. And my goal is trying to get 70% of our money in the ground. We've actually decided to eliminate the Toronto office. We're going to leverage off our Vancouver home base. We've reduced a few people who are working on development stuff, and we're trying to streamline our costs and be as financially prudent as anybody would want to ask. And, as I go to investors, as I've met them out at the Beaver Creek Precious Metals Conference and the Denver Gold, that's what they want to hear. They want to know, simply put, can I trust you with my money, and are you being as effective with it as possible? And I will tell you, that is what I'm trying to do. And I think we've made a lot of progress in the last month. So, as much as the stock price has been down, I think that we're turning in the overall market and the economy and the gold price. We've got we're going to have the $5 million that we need to get through the end of the year and into next year to shore up what we're doing. We're in front of 20 plus holes pending from our drill results, which have been lagged because the assay labs have been slow this summer with everybody. And then we got a potential sale with Homestake that's going to shore our treasury up even more. And when you look at this company, you're not going to sit there and point to, hey, these guys have no money and don't know what they're doing. I think it's the opposite. And this is why I'm excited. It's very obvious. I mean, you don't find companies that match up a great management team with multiple assets, a lot of exploration potential, and in a position to pivot into the right markets at the right time. I'm excited, and I think people should be taking a serious look at this company.
Fantastic. That was a great final sentence. That's exactly how I see it. And as I said, I'm a shareholder. I will get some more. That's also for sure. And thanks for the introduction of you. And I have a very good feeling that we talk quite soon when you have the drill holes out, and then we go a little bit more into medias res then.
Would love to do it. Excited to do it.
Super. Thank you very much, Tim. Great.
Take care.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tim Clark, the new CEO of Fury Gold Mines. And you heard it, company's just raising $5 million to really go through I would say, strategy change here, which I really welcome. Also, I welcome the sale of Homestake, because I think it's always good to really focus and have a stringent and clear story. That's exactly what they are doing now. And I think at those low share prices, probably a very good idea to have a very close look onto Fury Gold Mines. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.
Thank you.